All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. We love to uncover these kind of strange hyperlocal stories.
Absolutely.
And this one from Singapore, well, it's got it all. A neighborhood feud, a smelly dog, and even a resident considering moving out. So I got to ask, what's the deal with the Serangoon dog smell saga?
Yeah, I mean, apartment living, right? It always leads to these kind of conflicts.
Oh, for sure, especially in a place like Singapore. I mean, so dense.
Yep, exactly. Tons of people, close quarters, and then you add pets to the mix.
Recipe for disaster sometimes. So we've got this 67-year-old resident, Ms. Wang, who's saying the smell from her neighbor's dog is just unbearable.
Wow.
And get this, she's recovering from heart surgery. So she's really worried about how it's affecting her health, being cooped up in her apartment with this smell.
Oh, so there's a health angle to this too.
Yeah, she's saying it's impacting her mental well-being, and she can't even enjoy fresh air in her own home.
Makes sense. I mean, feeling trapped in your own space like that.
Exactly. And she's tried everything, everything you can imagine. Aromatherapy, she's spraying lemongrass like it's going out of style, even cleaning the hallway with fabric softener.
I mean, you gotta admire the effort.
Right. But she spent over $1,000 trying to deal with this.
Wow, $1,000. That's wild.
Yeah. It really shows you how desperate she is to find some kind of solution.
Definitely. And this begs the question, is she overreacting? Or is there actually something really funky going on?
Well, that's where things get a little murky. We've got Miss Chen, the dog owner, and she's saying, look, the authorities came, they checked my place out, they didn't find anything wrong. And a tenant who actually lives in Miss Chen's unit even said the smell isn't super strong.
So it's really subjective then?
It seems like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What one person finds totally offensive, someone else might not even notice.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Smell is so personal, so tied to our memories and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, we know Miss Wang is recovering from surgery, so maybe, maybe her sense of smell is heightened right now.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
There's research on this. People recovering from surgery that can be way more sensitive to smells could be playing a role here.
That makes total sense. I mean, it adds a whole other layer to this, right?
For sure.
And get this, some of the neighbors who live on lower floors have said they do notice a faint smell, especially when the dog stuff is drying.
Uh-huh. So maybe it's not all in Miss Wang's head.
Right. It's like the smell exists, but it's not like knocking everyone over.
It's that in-between zone, right?
Yeah.
And this is where things get especially tricky in Singapore.
Oh, yeah. Talk about cultural norms.
Harmony, being considerate of your neighbors, those are big deals there. But what happens when, personal sensitivities collide with that? How do you find that balance?
It's a tough one. But it's interesting. Miss Wang, she actually tried talking to Ms. Chen, even offered to help with, vet bills or changing the dog's litter box.
Really? So she's trying to find a solution, not just complain.
Yeah, it seems like she genuinely wants to make things work.
That's good. I mean, it's a reminder that compromise is key in these kinds of disputes.
Exactly. You got to find that middle ground. It can't just be about who's right or wrong.
Absolutely.
So at this point, the Town Council and NParks, which is Singapore's National Parks Board, they've gotten involved trying to mediate. But man, it's got to be a tricky situation.
Oh, yeah. It's a tightrope walk. On the one hand, you have individual rights, right? But then there's the whole community harmony thing.
Totally. And you know what? This whole story, even though it seems kind of small, it makes you think about the bigger picture.
Oh, definitely. What does it even mean to be a good neighbor in a place where everyone is living on top of each other?
Right. What are our obligations to each other when we live in such close proximity?
And where's that line? The one between what we personally prefer and, our responsibility to the community as a whole.
It's really making me think, maybe it's a bit of both. We've got to be considerate of those around us, maybe even tolerate things that bug us a little.
I think that's a great takeaway.
But also remember that clear communication is key. If something is really bothering you, it's worth trying to address it. Respectfully, of course.
Definitely. Who knows, maybe a simple conversation could have avoided this whole saga.
You never know. Well, folks, that's the Serangoon dog smell saga for you. It's a reminder that sometimes being a good neighbor means a little give and take, a dash of empathy, and maybe, just maybe, a really good air freshener.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And with that, we'll leave you to ponder what it means to be a good neighbor in your own neck of the woods. Until next time, happy deep diving.